You gotta learn how to photosynthesize? Oh my gosh. But you're not even going to flower school. Who's gonna teach you?
Yeah. I wish I could photosynthesize.
Cleveland, Ohio, what is good? It is a delight to be back in your lovely city, in your lovely state, as we made our way through the Midwest. Many states in the Midwest do not think you're in the Midwest, but I believe you're in the Midwest, and I'm happy to be concluding this Midwest tour here in a very cool vibe theater. It's super fun being here in the basement. Give yourselves a round of applause for making it out to the show tonight. We have a fun one on deck because these chapters are very silly, and I think it's a fun thing to cover silliness because the past couple chapters have been very intense, so I like that we get a little bit of a comic relief thing. I think it's going to be super fun, and I think it's also going to be super fun because our guest for this show, because I'm never on this journey alone, our guest from this show is someone that feels very passionately not only about Cleveland, but also Ohio definitely being in the Midwest. Please make some noise for our guest tonight. It's Cleveland's own Eric Hamilton Schneider. Thank you. How's it going?
It's going so well. I'm so happy to be home in the place that I live. It's been a delight being on tour with you. 5 cities, 6 for you. Yep. I mean, just delightful, just absolutely delightful. My grandfather was like a 33 level Mason or something. So he's definitely like been in this building before. And I'm sure he's looking down on me, being very proud that I'm about to talk about a children's book in a place that he did very important business.
I do not know what's the deal with the Masons as we perform in a Masonic temple. Do you know anything about the Masons? Do you know what he had to do to get to level 33?
I don't. Probably kill a guy, I assume. I have no idea. It's a secret society. If you get all the way to the top, you've got to do something. He definitely didn't. He was a very nice man. But yeah, it's fun to be here.
It's great. I'm having a good time. It's fun to be back in the land, and it's always fun doing these shows with you. It's also fun just doing podcast stuff with you, because not only are you the guest for tonight, but you are also, I didn't say in the introduction, the co-creator and the co-host of the new podcast that we made, The Last and the Curious. We made a little limited release 13-episode thing that you can get right now. It's on the TNO Patreon shop. You can also go to thelastandthecurio.us, so The Last and the Curious. And I had never watched any Fast and Furious movie. You're a big old fan. We watched 4 at your house the last time we were doing a Midwest tour. Was anyone here the last time we came to Cleveland? Yeah, let's go, people in the back. And it was a great time.
It was a great time.
That podcast exists. This tour has existed, and good times all around.
They shot some of 7 here.
Oh, they did?
The parts where all the cars go flying out of the garage.
And were they flying cars?
They literally just threw a bunch of cars out of a garage downtown.
Did you watch it? Did you go to see?
I did not, no. I was like, I gotta see it in theaters. I gotta see it real.
Oh, you didn't want to see...
I don't want to see the real thing happen. I want to see it happen on the big screen.
Yeah. You don't want to see when it's real. You want to see when it's real.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, we are here to cover chapters 7 and 8 of Book 3 in the sequel series. We're going to be covering these chapters of Mark of Athena, which has been off to a hot start. And these are shifting into the continuation of the Leo saga. He's off with Hazel, where we last left our heroes. They had a run-in with Nemesis, and that was very interesting. Her with her funky leather garb and her interesting Pac-Man wheel motorcycle.
Yeah.
And you had a thought about Nemesis before we continue on, correct?
Yeah. So she's opened up the fortune cookies. She's making the fortunes bad. And she's like, people are too lucky because of what's her name? Taiki.
/ Fortuna if you're Roman.
Yeah, and she gives Leo a fortune cookie, and she's like, this will help you in your time of need, but there'll be a price to pay.
Correct.
And what I think's going to happen is he's going to give a bad guy the cookie. Oh. And the fortune on the inside is going to be bad.
That's cool.
And that's how they're going to get him.
For context, Eric is in the same point of the story as me. He's been reading to keep up along with the tour. So we're both in the have not read past chapter 8.
No idea what happens next.
So yeah, it's not like he's finished the books and he's like, oh yeah, guess what? I get this cool guess.
I will say that is the one exciting thing about this tour being over is now I just get to like read the rest of the book
all the way.
I don't have to wait for you anymore.
No, you don't. You can go all the way through. Are you going to? Has it made you like want to?
Well, I think I only got like 12 days left on the Libby, so I gotta finish it before I gotta return it to the library.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm going to probably read all 5 books.
Ooh, fun. Well, I won't because of my job, but we'll continue onward. So chapter 7 is called Leo. We'll obviously retitle it. It opens with Hazel asking, who is Aunt Rosa? Because that's who Nemesis appeared as for Leo, the person that he most wants revenge against. Leo doesn't want to talk about her. Nemesis's words are still buzzing through his head, and his tool belt feels heavier after adding the fortune cookie to it, but he knows that's impossible. No matter what you put in the magical tool belt, it's not supposed to get any heavier, but Leo feels the metaphorical weight in there. He responds to Hazel's question, quote, long story, she abandoned me after my mom died, gave me to foster care. And Hazel says she's sorry. Leo asks what Nemesis meant about her brother. She explains that Nico found her in the underworld and brought her back to life, and she wants to help him because he gave her this second chance. She feels like she owes him. Leo gets what's going on, but he is confused by the 6 days to live and the Rome getting destroyed situation. So he asks if Hazel knows what's going on there. Hazel says she has no idea, though she does have a fear that she begins to voice, but then of course, as Chiron would have it, she trails off and stops short and doesn't say what she's worried about. I guess we'll learn about it when she's the narrator. I'm very intrigued now that we have 7 potential people to be narrators. If everybody's going to get a turn. That's something I've got my eye on.
Yeah, who has, but I mean, Annabeth definitely.
Now Annabeth, in this book, it's just been Annabeth and Leo so far.
Right, oh yeah.
Because Annabeth was the first 4, and then Leo has been 5 through 8. I'm assuming it'll switch to someone else for chapter 9, but I'm very intrigued to see, because this book, at least when I held it, was like about the same pages as the other books, which were in the like 50 chapter range. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely enough for everybody to go once. It would probably be enough for everybody to go exactly twice if they maybe like shorten up some of them, or they have to be tight around the ending with some of the space. But I don't know, maybe they'll get like interesting with it where it's not just your classic, like it's 4 chapters in a row and then it changes. But now we have 7 people. So it's very intriguing. Yeah. I'm excited to see how it goes down. Oh, here's a question, because you've been audiobooking it. They don't like change, the narrator doesn't like do different voices when it does the narrator, right? Like he's always like narrator voice. He doesn't like, as Leo, talk with a different amount of spunk or something.
If the person who is in the chapter speaking, then they do the voice. But the narrator voice is always the same. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Hazel climbs up a boulder to get a better view, and Leo tries to follow. He loses his balance, but then Hazel catches his hand, and now they're on top of the rock, face to face, holding hands. And I'm worried about this situation because she is supposed to be with Frank, but there's the whole weird Leo-Sammy thing that's going on. And Leo clearly has at least attraction to Hazel, so something's going on. It's getting interesting. Leo wonders who Sammy is as he stares into her eyes, and he has a feeling like he should know who Sammy is, but he just can't put a finger on it.
That's the most interesting thing that's happened about this so far, this book, because it feels like he even has like an inkling that something's going on. But who knows what it is?
I don't know. I definitely don't. You definitely don't. No. I bet most of the audience does.
Yeah, probably.
Narrator Leo says, quote, whoever he was lucky if Hazel cared for him. So clearly Leo has some feelings for Hazel. Then Leo goes full Percy Jackson and says, thanks, and lets go of Hazel's hand. They're still close enough where he can feel her warmth. So he still feels a little bit of that like nervous, flirtatious energy. Hazel asks Leo about the flames that emitted from his hands earlier when they were talking to Nemesis, and he explains that it is a Hephaestus power that he can normally keep under control. She seems a little bit concerned, and that saddens Leo because now he has to add another person to the list of people who think that he is a freak.
Leo is just taking L after L. It's very unfortunate, this book, because even this, it's just like, yeah, I'm usually good with it. It's like, yeah, you're usually also not good at firing a bunch of bolts into Rome, but you
Right.
did that like 3 hours ago too. So
Yeah, I don't know how well or how much you can trust someone who just did that to be
Yeah.
like, no, I got it under control. It's like, are you sure?
yeah, he's dealing with a lot.
Leo looks out across the island and he sees dunes and boulders between his location where they are and the opposite shore, but he doesn't see a reflecting pool, and that is what Nemesis had mentioned.
I fundamentally didn't understand the size of this island when they first got there, because as this goes on, it's like it just keeps, there's just more and more stuff. I thought it was like a very small, just kind of like pile of the lime, but it's big.
I thought it was small. It's hard because I've never been good with like judging distances and stuff like that. So they can at least see the other side, but you can be on like a pretty big island and still see the other side.
Yeah.
Like I've done a trip years ago. Kelly and I went to Thailand and we went to some of the smaller islands, and there are definitely islands that like you can see the other side, but like to walk all the way through
Quite
would
large.
take like 30 or 40 minutes. So I'm thinking maybe it's just that like it's very flat and there's not much going on, so you can see the other shore. But yeah, given the amount of walking and running and horse riding that they do, it doesn't feel like it is, the size of this room, unless they're going really slowly.
Yeah.
Leo thinks again of Nemesis saying that he will always be the outsider, and as the narrator, Leo thinks about how those particular words really affected him. He spent months alone in Bunker 9 making the ship while his friends trained and ate together and played capture the flag, winning cool prizes and stuff. And I feel like Leo could have avoided this if he didn't put in the most ridiculous technology all over the place in the mess hall.
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff. You don't need the massage chairs. You don't need the big screens. You don't need the magical cups, dude. Like, it's your fault. Like, you got way too lost in the sauce making the Argo 2. This is on you.
Also, like, didn't get any help.
That's true.
Why could he like take a day off and play capture the flag once in a while? Also, they're just playing capture the flag while like he's building the warship. Like,
I guess
what's Chiron doing over there? Like, he's not managing the camp well at all.
I guess in their mind, it is the equivalent of like, it is a form of training, even though it's not exactly, but it's
That's
like getting
true.
them ready
That is
for
true.
battle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. It feels like he could be building and then it's like, oh, they don't play like every night. I feel like he could be like, all right, let's shut it down for a second and go. And also the Hephaestus people, like none of the Hephaestus campers want to work on the ship with him.
I was gonna say there's other people, sons and daughters of Hephaestus. Like, didn't help. He's just like alone in the bunker.
Maybe they're all bitter, where it's just like, oh, can we go on the quest? It's like, no, it's just for us. And he's like, well, then fine. Then we're not going to help you.
Also, it's like dad likes him best. He gave him fire powers.
Oh, they're all jealous of Leo.
Yeah.
Either that or Leo's one of those like micromanager, like types that can't relinquish control. And he's like, I can't trust anyone else. He's not good at delegating. He needs to learn to delegate.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's all sad about this. I think it's his fault. He's upset that even to his best friends, Piper and Jason, he's not as important. They have pushed him away ever since they started dating, and they've decided that quality time no longer includes him. Yeah, dude, that makes sense. But at the same time, this is a very teenage thought of Leo. Like, this is a classic sort of teenage thing where one of your friends gets a significant other and they start spending a little less time with you. Like, I've been there. I get it. This makes sense for him at this age to think that. He then has a mopey thought where he's like, my only friend is a detached dragon head. And at that point, it's like, aren't there other people in your cabin? Like, make friends, Leo. Get out there. Talk to people. You're, on this hashtag grind life where you're only working and you're not socializing at all. Get some friends.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there. Come on. Talk to people. That's the other thing. Like, one of the things he lists is eating. It's like, you probably also need to eat, Leo. The work doesn't mean you can't eat at dinner time, so you can at least eat with other people. I don't know. I feel bad for him, but I'm also like, Leo, come on, my guy. So as narrator Leo, he repeats, the seventh wheel. Leo had heard of a fifth wheel, an extra useless piece of equipment. He figured a seventh wheel was worse, which, yeah, it is. Leo thought that this quest would be a fresh start for him. His friends would respect his work, and him and his friends would all be fighting together, and maybe he would find a girlfriend. Narrator Leo says, quote, Nemesis was right. He might be part of a group of 7, but he was still isolated. He had fired on the Romans and brought his friends nothing but trouble. You will not find a place among your brethren. So I feel bad for Leo here. Like, obviously he's in a tough spot. We've seen in these chapters leading up to this that he feels really bad about the thing that he had no control over yet still happened. So I understand that. He's not in an easy position.
Yeah. Also, I don't know where he thought he was going to find this girlfriend when he's spending all of his time in the bunker and then immediately hanging out with 3 couples and a goat.
Well, he didn't. He didn't know who the other two people were on
That's
the
a good
seven.
point, yeah.
So I guess he was like, yeah, the seven. It's Piper and Jason, it's Annabeth, and probably Percy, and then me, and then two smoking hot babes that are going to be all over Leo. Then I'm going to have to choose. They're going to be fighting over me. It'll be great.
That's definitely what Leo was
That's
thinking.
1,000% what he was thinking. He's like, we're going to roll in a camp. I'm going to pick out the two prettiest girls and be like, you're in the seven. Come with me. Hazel can clearly tell that he is thinking about this, and then she reminds him, you don't have to take what Nemesis said to heart. He responds by asking, but what if it's true? Hazel reminds him that Nemesis is the goddess of revenge. She could be on his side or against him, but no matter what, the point of her existence is to stir up resentment, so he shouldn't let that work. He shouldn't let her get to him. Leo wishes that he could just drop it, but he can't. He does recognize, however, that he shouldn't blame Hazel for anything. And I think that's a very mature thought of him. It's tough, even as an adult sometimes, to not take your anger towards some situation out on the person that's closest to you, just like venting at your spouse or your roommate or your friend that you're driving across the country with. Like if you're mad about a particular situation, sometimes you can kind of be grumpy and bitter towards someone that's just in your proximity, and that's not fair. And I think it's very mature of Leo to recognize that.
Yeah. Me and Mike did not get in any fights.
Not
on
at
the
all.
road trip,
Zero.
just to be clear.
This has been easy breezy, beautiful.
been great.
It's been
This is
so
nice.
smooth.
Yeah.
Leo says that they should move on because of what Nemesis said about them needing to finish this task before dark. Hazel is curious about the cursed boy that Nemesis was talking about, and then a voice below them repeats, quote, cursed boy, she mentioned. And for a second, I was like, Gia, come on, get out of here. But no. Narrator Leo says, quote, at first, Leo saw no one. Then his eyes adjusted. He realized a young woman was standing only 10 feet from the base of the boulder. Her dress was a Greek-style tunic, the same color as the rocks. Her wispy hair was somewhere between brown and blonde and gray, so it blended with the dry grass. She wasn't invisible exactly, but she was almost perfectly camouflaged until she moved. Even then, Leo had trouble focusing on her. Her face was pretty, but not memorable. Sick burn. In fact, each time Leo blinked, he couldn't remember what she looked like, and he had to concentrate to find her again. Hazel asks who she is, and the girl responds, who are you? So Hazel had asked, who are you? She says, who are you? And immediately, because I know some mythology things, I knew that this whole deal that they were going to deal with was the story of Narcissus and Echo. So I felt like a smart Greek mythology boy.
So good, so good. I really like I wouldn't even call it a trope because it doesn't come up that often, but like the idea of like something that's hard to just visually look at because it's like, is it even there? I love that. I love that kind of thing. I can't remember the other piece of media that I really recall this being in, but I like the concept of like, ooh, it's just kind of like hard to get.
This happened a couple of times in Percy Jackson. I think when Percy talks with Aphrodite in the third book, she keeps changing to like
Yes,
different facial
yeah.
features that he thinks are attractive. And then I think when he's fighting, is it Campe? I feel like there's one of the monsters like keeps changing, and it's like almost hard to get a read on it because it's like her belt is like all different like screaming animals and stuff, and I think it keeps like changing and stuff. But Aphrodite, I think, is the most clear.
Yeah.
He was like, it was hard to focus because she kept looking like different people, but always smoking hot kind of thing.
Yeah, there's something in some TV show or video game, I can't remember what it is, but there's something else that has that similar vibe, and I just think it's a very cool idea.
Yeah, it is for sure. It's kind of like also when I was working out in your basement gym where you have those hue lights that like
Yeah.
slowly change different colors of blue and green. I like had my phone out and I was like, oh, I'll take a picture of it when it gets to the teal that looks like the TNO logo. And then I was like, is it changing? Is it getting more green? It's one of those like the more you look at it, you can't really tell. But then if you like look away and look back, you're like, it is a different color.
I got a real equinox down there.
Hey, it was a great vibe. It was a great setup. I was able to get squats in. I was able to do bench press, and I didn't have to wait for anyone to get off of the rack. It was
That's
fantastic.
the best part of it.
Hazel and Leo exchange looks, and then Leo thinks that, quote, a girl camouflaged in earth tones doesn't strike Leo as something that he wants to deal with just then. So thinks like, I don't know if I want to worry about this. Leo asks if she is the cursed kid that Nemesis was talking about, but he thinks that that can't be the case because Nemesis said it was a cursed boy, and she's a girl. There's lots of classic Echo just repeating the last thing of whatever is said, and that causes Leo to ask Hazel, isn't there a myth about a girl who always repeats the last thing that she hears? And Hazel answers Echo, and then Echo repeats, so we get it. Leo is fuzzy about the details of the story. He asks Echo if she was cursed to repeat the last thing that she heard. Echo confirms by saying, repeat the last thing that I heard, or that you heard, whatever. Hazel recalls that a goddess did it, and then it does get into clever writing. And the other piece of media that I've seen with the Echo and Narcissus story, they do this where, like, very creatively, you truncate whatever the last sentence was so that it most works as a reply, depending on whatever Echo's trying to do. So, like, I thought this was very cleverly done by Rick. So in this instance, Hazel asks, did a goddess do this? And then she basically replies, a goddess. Yeah, I keep saying it wrong because I'm trying to, like, put it in the tense that works for me describing.
You're doing a good job because like it literally is just a bunch of sentences and then the last bit of that sentence, and describing that as a conversation is very difficult. There is also I can't remember the race in Dungeons and Dragons, the birds that like are cursed to only repeat things. They start with a K, I want to say, but there's a character in the second season of Critical Role named Kiri, I want to say.
You know more than me.
And that's a delightful character where she's like, she can only repeat things she's heard, and it's always a fun little thing to go with.
Yeah, I think Rick was having a lot of fun with it here.
Yeah.
Leo is confused because this was supposed to be thousands of years ago, but then he guesses, oh, you must have come back through the doors of death. Leo makes a comment about not wanting to run into more dead people, and then Hazel looks at her feet awkwardly since she was very recently dead. Leo apologizes, explaining that he didn't mean it that way. Super smooth, my guy. Yeah, that's good. And because Leo ended his sentence with that way, Echo points and says that way. And I was like, how clever.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Hazel thinks that Echo is trying to show them something. So Hazel climbs down the boulder. Leo follows. And as narrator Leo, he lets us know that Echo is hard to see even up close. She seems to get more and more invisible the longer and longer that he looks at her. Leo asks if she's really flesh and blood, and she repeats flesh and blood and then touches his face, and the warmth of her fingers causes him to flinch. And then we get this very fun exchange. Leo says, so, you have to repeat everything? And then she just says, everything. And then the book says, Leo couldn't help smiling. That could be fun. Fun, she said unhappily. Blue elephants, blue elephants. Kiss me, you fool, you fool. Hey, hey! It's pretty good. And then Hazel pleads, Leo, don't tease her. And then Echo goes, don't tease her, which is good. So a very creative thing. And I'm glad that him trying to, I guess, trick her into kissing him didn't work. Because that's not the way you get someone to kiss you.
This is the first time I went with Leo, like, I don't feel bad about this one, Leo. Everything else that's happened to you today, I feel bad about. This one, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, like, teenage boy, I get it. But also, like, consent is super duper cool, Leo. Leo agrees to stop and asks Echo what she is pointing at, and she starts running and calling for them to follow her, so they chase after her. Narrator Leo says, quote, they found the problem. If you can call a mob of good-looking girls a problem, Echo led them down into a grassy meadow shaped like a blast crater, with a small pond in the middle. Gathered at the water's edge were several dozen nymphs. At least Leo guessed they were nymphs. Like the ones at Camp Half-Blood, these wore gossamer dresses. Their feet were bare, they had elfish features, and their skin had a slightly greenish tinge. And I feel like Leo is not the demigod for this task. He very much has a track record of thinking that women, whether they are human or magical or beastly beings, whatever, he gets very, like heart flutter eyes. So I don't know if this is the dude that we need holding down this task. At this point, I was like, Hazel's really going to have to be the voice of reason in this situation.
Luckily, I think Hazel balances him out pretty well because she's kind of like serious, old-timey lady.
She keeps him grounded. You knew what you signed up for when you came to the show. Leo can't tell what they are doing, but they are all crowded together, some with phone cameras out, jostling for a position for a better view of something. And at this point I figured, oh, it's Narcissus. They're going all teen heartthrob on him. I didn't fully guess the direction that they take Narcissus, but this sort of thing, I was like, okay, this is, like a super fan, oh my gosh, I gotta take a photo of him kind of vibe, which I think is a really fun thing to do for Narcissus. Yeah. I don't know so much about his myth that this is a common way to write it, but for Rick writing a teen story with Greek mythological characters, this is the perfect thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, they're all fighting over this better view, and while they're doing this, Leo wonders what they're looking at. Hazel marches forward and pushes her way through, and when I was reading this, then I realized, oh, right, because Narcissus wants to see his reflection. Nemesis warned that he gets in a really bad mood when nightfall happens. When it's too dark, he can't see his reflection, so that's why they got to do this earlier. Hazel pushes through. A nymph gets mad, saying that she was there first. Another says there's no way that he would be interested in Hazel and Leo. And they see that she is wearing a t-shirt over her dress that says OMG, I heart, with a less than 3 heart, N with 4 exclamation points, which is a great shirt. That I feel like is some deep cut Percy Jackson merch that you could wear at a convention or like to the movie screening, or I guess they don't do that anymore because they're making a TV show. To your friend's house when you're watching the new season. I think this is a fun, like super deep cut merchandise item that I think is very fun. Leo says that they are there on official demigod business and asks for some room. The nymphs groan, but they relent and they do make some space. Leo and Hazel can now see a young man kneeling at the edge of the pond, staring into it intently. Narrator Leo mentions that he doesn't pay much attention to how guys look. He credits it to spending a lot of time around Jason, who's like rugged and handsome and all these things that Leo will never be. But even Leo can recognize this guy's beauty. And for a teenage boy, like, that is good. I think that's an important thing because definitely when I was a teenage boy, if you ever admitted that a dude was good looking, it was like, oh, what do you like him? Why don't you marry him? So for Leo to not think this way and for Uncle Rick to basically write in the book, like, it's okay, even if you don't like boys, to recognize that boys are pretty. I think it's a good teen lesson to put in a YA book.
Yeah, for sure. Leo, I also just love that he's like, yeah, I've been hanging around with like the hottest jock ever. I'm chill with other guys.
Narrator Leo says, quote, he had a chiseled face with lips and eyes that were somewhere between feminine beautiful and masculine handsome. Dark hair swept over his brow. He might have been 17 or 20, it was hard to say, but he was built like a dancer with long, graceful arms and muscular legs, perfect posture, and an air of regal calm. He wore a simple white t-shirt and jeans with a bow and quiver strapped to his back. The weapons obviously hadn't been used in a while. The arrows were covered in dust. A spider had woven a web in the top of the bow. Fun description.
Yeah, I wonder how has great posture and also like leaning over a lake.
I was wondering that.
Because you'd have to be in a really specific position to be like, that guy's back is great.
Maybe he's like in perfect like deadlift position where he's like got the, you have to keep like the straight back.
Yeah.
And just, like,
that looks like a really uncomfortable way to sit at the edge of a lake is kind of my point though.
Right, yeah. No, I wouldn't be like, yes, the comfortable starting a deadlift position. But I'm glad you brought that up because I had the same thought of like, he's bent over a lake but has great posture. What does that mean?
Maybe he's doing like a Romanian deadlift where he's just like, he's fully over.
He's planking. Yeah. As Leo approaches, he can see that the guy's face is unusually golden, but then he sees that the sunset is bouncing off of a large sheet of celestial bronze that lays at the bottom of the pond, giving this dude a nice warm glow. Narrator Leo says, quote, the guy seemed fascinated with his reflection in the metal. And Hazel comments that he's gorgeous, just kind of like blurting it out loud. And the nymphs all clap and shriek in agreement, which is fun. The dude then dreamily murmurs, I am so gorgeous. And then a nymph holds up her iPhone and says that his last YouTube video got 1 million views in an hour, and she thinks that she was half of them. At this point, I was basically picturing Narcissus to be Jungkook from BTS, because he's certainly the prettiest. I don't know if you're well-versed in BTS, but Jungkook is like, at least to me, the prettiest of the boys, and there's people that would definitely be fighting to take pictures and stuff over him, and he would get 1 million views in an hour just for a video of him staring into the water, which is what this is.
I love YouTuber Narcissus.
I think hilarious. It's a really fun direction to take it.
As 2 former YouTubers, very funny.
YouTube friends, funny. That's how we became friends. We were video bloggers back in at least my high school days.
Yeah, my early college into adulthood.
Yeah, and mine was late high school into collegehood.
Yeah, fun stuff.
And here we are. We made it.
Ooh, we sure did.
Leo asks if he sings in the videos. The nymph responds, no, silly. He used to be a prince and a wonderful hunter and stuff, but that doesn't matter. Now he just, well, look. And the video is exactly what they're seeing in real life, him looking into the pond. Here is my question. Is the video just like him doing this same thing previously, or is there somehow like a simulcast live stream going on? My guess would have been like same kind of thing, but filmed a different
Yeah,
day because there was no mention of camera or whatever.
I think it's just one of those really weird YouTube channels that you only find at like 2:30 a.m. And you're just like, what is the algorithm even giving me right now? There's the idea of like internet rest stops. Have you heard of this idea?
I have not, no.
There's this idea of internet rest stops where they're like, specifically mostly YouTube videos, where like they're just a video that a random person uploaded that just have good vibes. So like the most famous one, I don't remember what it's called, but it's just got some really chill music. And the background is a background image from Donkey Kong Country 2. And it just plays for like 15 minutes. But then you read the comments and everyone's just like, just taking a break right here. And they're all really sweet. And then like people like come back like 15 years later. This video's been up for a long time. People will come back and like they'll like write something really sad in like 2010 and like I'm just going through a hard time. And then they'll like reply to their own comment, be like, I made it through it, guys. And it's like and like this is like a really, really niche part of YouTube, but it is delightful. And this is not delightful that same way.
Sure.
His videos, because they're very vain and everything. But the idea of just like a thing someone just uploaded and then just kind of like it's there forever.
I like that. I like that a lot. I don't necessarily have comfort videos with that, but I definitely have, whether it be like particular music videos or songs or just like goofy thing that I remember from like 10 years ago. It is nice to have those. And then the comments will have similar things, but more of like, who's still watching this in 2025?
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, but no, internet rest stop. That's very
Internet
fun.
rest stop's great. There's like video essays about it too, where you can find like some really good ones.
Nice. And then there's video essays about the video essays about the
Of course.
internet rest stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another nymph who is dressed in a Mrs. Narcissus shirt goes, he is so hot, which makes me think of one of the times, to do another BTS reference, Kelly saw J-Hope do a solo concert at Lollapalooza. He was one of the headliners, and she said, and you could hear it on the video because Kelly took a couple videos of the concert, the person behind just, once J-Hope took the stage, went, he's so expletive hot, like at the top of her lungs, and it was so funny. To now, anytime J-Hope comes up on anything, I will often scream that phrase.
I saw Paramore here last year, 2 years ago, and when the first chord of Misery Business hit, a woman 5 feet to my left just like fell to her knees. And I was like, yeah, girl, you're right.
Correct.
You're right. If I was at 36, I'd also fall to my knees. These ain't good anymore though.
Leo asks Narcissus, and Echo repeats Narcissus. And Leo thinks, oh, right, Echo's here. I forgot about Echo. Mrs. Narcissus is not happy to see her and tries to push Echo away, but misses and pushes some of the other nymphs. The girl with the phone tells Echo that she had her chance. Quote, he dumped you 4,000 years ago. You're so not good enough for him. So, ooh, history. Hazel struggles to stop looking at Narcissus, but she is able to ask why Echo brought them here. And a nymph holding a poster of Narcissus with a pen, hoping for an autograph, explains that Echo was a nymph just like them long ago, and she was very loquacious. She would frequently gossip. Another nymph chimes in, quote, I know, like, who could stand that? Just the other day, I told Cleopia, she lives in the boulder next to me. I said, stop gossiping, or you'll end up like Echo. Cleopia is such a big mouth. Did you hear what she said about the cloud nymph and the satyr? I love how much she is gossiping, as she says.
It's so good.
You can't gossip. Perfectly crafted joke.
Over the course of this tour, we've talked a lot about some questionable pronunciations from the audiobook.
Oh,
but none happen here as far as I know.
Okay.
It doesn't say like Akko or something weird there. But the voices for the nymphs and Narcissus and Echo as well, just spot on. Like of the 8 books that I've listened to now of this series, this chapter has the best voice acting from the guy that's read them all.
Like he's doing like a dreamboat kind of Narcissus.
He's
and
like,
oh my god.
Yeah. It's really good, and the nymphs all have like this very like kind of way, and then Echo is like this kind of ethereal voice. Like he really hits all 3 of these different voices really well.
Good for him, because he was not pronouncing words right, so I'm glad he could at least do voices.
The voices are great, yeah.
Yeah, the pronunciation could use some help. The phone girl goes, totally, and then continues that Hera cursed Echo into only repeating as a punishment for talking too much. I'll obviously have to ask Dr. Moya for more of the specifics, but the nymphs apparently were fine with the curse, but then Echo fell in love with Narcissus, and according to Mrs. Narcissus, Narmissus, Echo, quote, had some weird idea that he needs saving. Another nymph, this one with a Narcissus plus Leia written on her arms in Sharpie, says that she's so glad that he's alive again. And then there's this turf war between the nymphs because they're arguing whose territory he's in. Is he here because of rock nymph territory or pond nymph territory or grass nymph territory? Or no, he's only here because of the wildflowers, so it's in my wildflower nymph territory, which I think is a fun little way to get the different nymphs in the mix. Leo gets them to calm down, stating that he needs to ask Narcissus something. So Leo kneels next to him and asks, "What's up?" Narcissus asks Leo to move over as he's ruining the view, and the narrator Leo says, quote, "Leo didn't have any desire to stare at himself. Compared to Narcissus, he looked like an undergrown troll. But there was no doubt that the metal was a sheet of hammered celestial bronze, roughly circular, about 5 feet in diameter." So that is a lot of bronze. That's a huge hunk of bronze.
Very, very big.
Big. Leo's unsure how this plate got here, but he's heard that pieces that were cast off from his dad's workshops would land on Earth in strange places. So Leo thinks that maybe he was crafting a shield for a god and it didn't work out, so he tossed it aside and then now it's here. Leo asks if he can take the sheet of bronze if Narcissus isn't using it, but Narcissus refuses, saying, quote, "No, I love him. He's so gorgeous." Leo thinks that this must be a joke. He looks at the nymphs, but they are all nodding in agreement, and Hazel seems displeased now, so she seems to have snapped out of any sort of attraction to him. Leo asks Narcissus if he realizes that he's looking at his own reflection, and Narcissus just goes on and on about how great he is, how pretty he is, etc. Leo says that Narcissus could still see his reflection in the water if Leo took the bronze, and then he offers a trade with a mirror. And Narcissus takes the mirror, which Leo took out of his tool belt, and says, "Even you carry a picture of me? I don't blame you. I am gorgeous. Thank you."
Perfect joke.
Really good.
Perfect joke that the idea that a mirror someone else hands you is a photo of you is so funny. And like just the way, like, I don't know what tense he's using or whatever it is, like perspective, like if it's first person, second person, third person, because he's constantly being like I and me, and like he's using words to reference himself in the third person but in the first person at the same time, and it's all just very, very funny.
I think it's perfectly a little bit confusing.
Exactly,
Because sometimes
yeah.
he does refer to his reflection like it is someone else.
Yeah.
So I think it just kind of goes perfectly where I think you're supposed to kind of not exactly know what he knows.
Yeah.
And I think it works with whatever his curse is, where he might be confused of like, is that someone else? Is it me? Whatever. I think it's well done, so that's exactly what we're supposed to feel.
Yeah. When did he have the time to get the posters made of himself? Because
See,
he's
here's
just
the
been
thing.
staring at him for a while.
I don't think he made the posters. I don't think he's uploading the YouTube videos. I think this is like a fan run operation. I think he is just doing his own thing. And this is like when people have fan accounts that make edits and all this kind of stuff. I don't have much experience with these except for like the Walker Scobell ones that pop up on the TNO feed from time to time. Because I did the interview with him, like they were ripping the interview that I had posted and then making it into like those fan cam edits and then tagging me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know if I need to see this thirst trap about a 14-year-old, but glad you used my video without crediting me.
That's
I guess they
hilarious.
credited me,
Yeah.
but I didn't give you the video. You definitely ripped it off YouTube, but you tagged me, so I'll take it. So Narcissus puts down the mirror because he favors the view in the lake. He thinks that the color from the bronze is more flattering on him. The nymphs all start clamoring over him, and then Hazel, and thus Echo by her nature, try to get them to stop. Leo can now see that Echo is kneeling on the other side of Narcissus, and she's waving her hand in front of his face like she is trying to get his attention. Narcissus, though, completely unfazed. The nymphs try to push Hazel out of the way, and then she wields her sword and has them stand back like she's Woody in Sid's house, where she's like, back, you savages! One of the nymphs says, quote, "He won't sign your sword," and another says, "He won't marry you," and then says that they can't take the plate of bronze because that's what keeps him here. Hazel thinks that this is absurd and questions why they even like him if he is so obviously self-obsessed, and Narcissus chimes in with, "I am so hot." Hazel addresses Narcissus, saying that Echo brought them here to help him, and he asks who, and she explains the only girl who seems to care about his well-being. Hazel asks if he remembers dying, and he says no, but he thinks that can't be. That wouldn't be right for me to die. I'm too important to die. Hazel says that he died staring at himself. She says that now she remembers the story. Quote, Nemesis was the goddess who cursed you because you broke so many hearts. Your punishment was to fall in love with your own reflection. And Narcissus replies, I love me so much.
It's so funny.
So
it's
good.
So funny.
Very, very good. Hazel says that she doesn't know which version is true. Either he died by drowning himself or he turned into a flower hanging over the water. And Hazel asks Echo, which is it? And of course, Echo responds with, which is it? So doesn't help. Great way for Rick to not have to choose.
Yeah. Two wildly different ways to die. Drowning or turn into a flower.
Yeah, I guess I'd rather turn into a flower.
Yeah, me too.
Because then at least you've got like some sort of afterlife situation going on.
Also, you don't drown.
Yeah, which sounds
That's more where
awful.
I'm going for.
That sounds
on that
so
one.
bad.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
absolutely.
I'd much rather turn into a flower than drown.
Yeah. Ugh. Blah, blah, blah. Leo says that unless turning into a flower is very painful. What if it's very painful? When you're like growing a xylem and a phloem? I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
gotta-
I didn't consider that.
Like, you got to learn how to photosynthesize? Oh my gosh. You're not even going to flower school. Who's going to teach you?
Yeah, I wish I could photosynthesize.
I mean, it would be kind of nice.
So great.
It'd be easier. Just like, oh, I'm hungry. Just like open a window.
Go outside.
Ah, yes, great. Good.
Could run so much farther.
If you could photosynthesize. Oh, because you could just
you
go and
get
just not
energy
have
as
to-
you're going. Yeah.
Oh, that would be good. Then if you're a flower, what if a bee pollinates you? Does that hurt if they're like stinging you with the stinger?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
We gotta get off this. We gotta.
I'm just trying to, make drowning's looking better and better.
Yeah. I guess.
At least it's just the one pain, right? Leo says that it doesn't matter what the true ending is. The point is that Narcissus is alive again and he has a second chance and he should get on with his life rather than stay here and stare at his own reflection. All of the nymphs disagree. Narcissus thinks that Leo is just after his reflection, and they say it belongs to him, like Leo can steal it. Hazel sees the sun setting and asks Leo if they can have a quick sidebar. Echo joins them, and Hazel tells Leo that Nemesis is right. Some demigods can't change their nature. Narcissus will die here, so there's no sense in trying to save him. Leo says no, and thus Echo also says no. Leo says that they need the bronze, and taking it away could possibly snap Narcissus out of this. Echo then could try and save him, according to Leo. Hazel worries that the nymphs will attack, and she is also concerned that Narcissus might attack as well, and reminds them he is armed, like he does have a bow on his back and arrows. And Leo thinks it over, and he's not trying to run into Narc after dark, but he asks Hazel if her precious metal powers mean that she can summon it, because he hasn't actually seen her do any of her metallic magic yet. Yeah. She answers that she can for smaller things. She's never tried to move something so large. She thinks that she could draw it towards her through the earth, but she'd have to be pretty close to it, and it would take a lot of focus and a lot of time. Leo wishes that it could be easier, but he thinks that this is their only chance, this is all they can do, so they should take the risk. He suggests that Hazel try to summon the big hunk of metal from where they are. He says that she should have it sink through the sand and then tunnel over to her, and then she can pick it up and head towards the ship with it. I don't know how heavy celestial bronze is, but a 5-foot wide diameter metal shield feels like, especially dragging it through the sand, like that feels like a pretty tough task. Hazel's 13.
Well,
this sounds big and heavy. But maybe it's easier because of her powers?
I assume because of her powers, she doesn't have to physically lift it. I think it's just kind of like a magic thing.
Yeah.
However, she is a child from 1940s New Orleans, so she's definitely doesn't have enough nutrients.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
So she definitely can't physically lift this because she is 13 and they did not have modern science 100 years ago.
So she has been back for a couple of months at this point, so maybe she's
That's
been
not
eating.
enough. I'm not saying she's dying. I'm just saying the reason athletes keep getting faster and better is because we're better at stuff these days. So I don't think Hazel's buff by any means. So I think she's really gonna have to lean on the Hades powers, the Pluto powers.
I would love, I don't know, I know there's other side stories things with the Heroes of Olympus, there's the Demigod Diaries and there's some other stuff. I would love if one of the stories was just Hazel once she comes back, because her discovering stuff for the first time would be so cool. The first time she sees color TV. Or
This girl just learned what fluoride is.
it would be very cool to see all the different things that we would find mundane for her to be oh my goodness, I don't know. I'm not well versed enough in the 40s to know like what was and wasn't invented besides like the big obvious things. But it would just be super cool for her to see all these different things. Like she would freak out the first time she saw like a TV or a cell phone. Like she'd lose her mind.
Yeah.
Hazel thinks that Narcissus will be staring at it. Leo says that he will be in charge of making a distraction with the help of Echo. Leo asks Echo if she's on board with the plan, which I like. I like that he was checking that she's okay with it. She says yes, and then Leo says, great, now let's hope we don't die. And that's the end of chapter 7, which I have retitled, We Smash That Subscribe Button. What have you...
I mean, mine was also going to be like a like, comment, subscribe for more Narcissus.
Perfect. All right, so that is the end of chapter 7. That is the end of this portion of the episode for now, if you're listening to the podcast after the fact. So let's say goodbye to the podcast people.
Goodbye.
Hello and welcome to the Marks of Athena, New Jersey edition. We are at the beach for a family trip. I'm coming to you from the closet of my parents' room. The baby is asleep. I'm on my laptop microphone and we're here with updates about the podcast. So let's talk about those updates. I'm going to keep this one pretty quick, but I want to give a shout out to everyone that was very nice about the San Diego Comic-Con thing that happened. I was very fortunate enough to be there for the Percy Jackson stuff that they did on Thursday, and I had a lot of very cool opportunities to do my distinguished member of the press stuff, and everyone was really nice about it on the internet. And I just wanted to thank everyone for being so nice. A lot of people sending really nice messages saying that they're happy for me, that they're proud of me, that they're excited for the content to come, which there are some really good interview stuff that you will be hearing in the near future. And I'm just very appreciative to everyone for putting the good vibes my way. It's been a wild ride doing all this kind of stuff. It's cool to be able to do some big things like this and to share what I was able to learn from the cast and the crew and the production team with all of you. So stay tuned for some sort of bonus episode where I post the content from San Diego Comic-Con. Now, there are other travels that I will be doing in just a matter of weeks at this point. We've got some shows in August. I've got a show in St. Louis on August 14th with Johnny Frolickstein. I've got a show in Kansas City, Missouri with Michael Hollis on August 18th. I've got Enchanticon in St. Louis in between those dates. We've got a TNO show on Saturday and on Sunday at that convention. And then in September, we've got a show in Providence, Rhode Island on the 13th with Sequoia. And then a show in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on the 28th with Eric Hamilton Schneider, who you're hearing on this episode right now. For tickets to all these shows, go to newestolympian.com/live, and I'm still in the works for trying to get the Providence show streamed. It's been a little tricky finding a streaming company, but hopefully we can get something to work. Now, an update about this episode in particular. Soon after the mid-roll break, I will talk about the joys of there being a mirror behind Eric's head on the venue, and I talked about why it is good, but I didn't do a good enough job of doing it on stage in a way that also translated to the podcast. The whole time I was fixing my hair, and I was basically saying that the mirror is nice because I can check my hair without having to be so distracted by, since I'm already looking Eric in the eye, I can see my hair and then fix it if it's not great. But I didn't really say that into the microphone. So just so that you aren't confused, that's what I was referring to. It made sense on stage, not necessarily on recording. Now, earlier I talked about being grateful. I'm so grateful for all the folks who are supporting on Patreon. Reminder, we're still doing the thing where if you are an annual patron, by the time September 1st hits, then we'll be giving you free TNO bookmarks. But let's give a shout out to the folks who have joined the Patreon most recently. So shout out to our new Super God Tier patrons, Sea Smoke, and shout out to our newest God Tier patrons, Tanya, Gwen Roberto, Annie, and Natalie Bates. And shout out to our newest Demigod Tier patrons, Taylor and Tori Hollisey, Elizabeth Barely, Liz Sunshine, Wild West Dan, and Alex Lee. Thank you all so much for your support. May Poseidon bless you that if you are swimming in the ocean and the current is strong, you are able to swim to where you need to go without tiring out too quickly. And most importantly, that you stay safe. Real talk, anyone, if you are swimming in the ocean and riptides and rip currents are there, be careful. Those things can really sneak up on you. Now, if you're all caught up on the News Olympian and you're looking for new content to consume, you are in luck because I make a whole bunch of content and I think you would like it. One show that I think you would enjoy is one that I am making steps towards. We are preparing the materials on them and getting guests. That's Meddling Adults. Many people ask, when is it coming back? And the answer is hopefully soon, but it is a podcast where I'm the host and it's for charity. Guests compete to solve children's mysteries from classics like Shelby Woo and Scooby-Doo, and whoever gets more answers correct or scores bonus points, the highest score or they win money for a charity of their choosing. It's a fun time. You can listen to all of our episodes at meddlingadults.com or by searching for Meddling Adults wherever you get your podcasts. And stay tuned for whenever we start releasing new episodes, hopefully soon in the coming months. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon, where you get access to ad-free episodes, you're going to hear words from a few sponsors make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of those ads will be read by me, and some of them won't be. The ones that aren't are inserted locally. So if you live in Albania, don't be surprised if you hear an ad in Albanian. But once those ads are complete, we'll get back into this episode of The Newest Olympian.
Johnny and I have been doing this bit when we do the shows where we come out in jackets and then we say that it's like cold in the green room and then we take them off and we're both wearing the matching pug shirts.
Yeah.
It's actually cold in the green room at this venue and I've been wearing this and I am going to take it off when I get, I'll do it right now. But it's funny that we've been lying about it for weeks and weeks and now it's like genuinely like I was cold in the green room. We're here. Wouldn't it be fun if somehow like instantly I was wearing your matching shirt? Whoa,
that would be good.
Genuinely, it was just cold. All right. Anyway, Percy Jackson. Now we are ready to cover Chapter 8, which is also called Leo, which we will also, of course, retitle. And this one begins with, quote, Leo psyched himself up for an extreme makeover. And he summons breath mints, which, of course, he does because he keeps always taking those out of his tool belt. And he also takes out welding goggles. And then he rolls up his sleeves. He slicks back his hair with oil grease. And at this point, I realized, he's actually giving himself a makeover. Like when he said it at the beginning of the line, I was like, I wonder what he's inferring. But like, no, he's legitimately giving himself a makeover to be pretty Leo.
Are the breath mints the first thing that he's gotten out that are like not a tool or something? Because I thought in the first book that he's in, it was all like hammers and wrenches and stuff.
It was, but I don't know why or how, but breath mints did come up at least once. Okay. Like there was one time they came out and then there was another time it was like referenced and I think Jason made fun of him for it not being a tool, but it has kind of like been established that breath mints for whatever reason like count.
Also for him, he's like trying to impress the ladies, so maybe it's like because he wants some breath mints.
This is also the most perfect setup for a venue. I need to start demanding this. There's a mirror behind your head.
Oh.
And I can see I
did not notice that.
It's so nice. Because like there would be times where I'm like wondering like, does it look bad? Do I need to change it? And now I can just like see, but without having to do anything else except for look you and then like maybe be like, huh?
You're like, he is balding back there.
Good point, Eric. Yeah, good point. So, Leo, in addition to the other things he's doing for this makeover, he has Hazel tattoo hot stuff on his biceps. Now, it says on his biceps with a skull and crossbones, meaning that you could interpret this as the same thing on both or hot and stuff.
Yep.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Like, me, my biceps hot and stuff. I was very intrigued. He also puts a wrench in his back pocket and he says he's not sure why. But I get it. Like, it's part of the look, for sure.
Yeah. It's a classic Dom Toretto look.
Yes.
Listen
Good
to
Fast and the Fury reference.
Yeah,
Everybody listen to our podcast. But Hazel, Leo as the narrator, says that she sounds flustered, asks, what are you thinking? And he says that that's his secret, Cap. He's never thinking. He tells her to focus on the bronze, and he asks Echo if she is ready to go, and she says she's ready. Leo approaches the pond. He's trying to look cool and not scared or nervous, and he shouts, Leo is the coolest! So, of course, Echo repeats, Leo is the coolest. And then there's a few more things like that where he's hyping himself up, and Echo's repeating whatever he says. And this was approaching a territory of something that I do know exists in the Percy Jackson universe. There is a line that Leo says, and just in case anyone doesn't know what it is, there is a line where like Leo would like gas himself up around other girls and stuff that I've heard just because it's like a meme in the PJO universe. And I was like, this is definitely going to be the chapter where that line comes through. And against all odds, it doesn't.
Oh.
So now I'm very intrigued to see when this Leo line shows up. You'll get this whenever you get to that line.
Idea.
But in case people are, some people like stay ahead with the show, I don't want to spoil it just because I've been spoiled. So he does a few more of these like, woo, and echo and woo lines. And then he ends this little barrage of compliments with, quote, Narcissus is weak. And I was like, the strategy emerges. Here we go. The nymphs are alarmed. He tries to convince them that Narcissus is a dweeb, and they are not taking it. He tries adjusting his goggles, smiling, flexing, and he even says like what little muscles he has to flex. And the nymphs are staring at him, but not necessarily in a dreamy way, in admiration, more of just a confused way. And Narcissus is still fixated on his reflection. And then, very 2010s, Leo effectively hits him with a yo mama joke. He says, quote, you know how ugly Narcissus is? He's so ugly, when he was born, his mama thought he was a backwards centaur with a horse butt for a face. Got him!
Got him good. Also, I like that that's what a backward centaur is.
It's not horse head on top, it's horse butt. And then
it's like real reversed.
it's extra reversed. Yeah. The nymphs all gasp. Narcissus seems to notice him a bit, but it's more of like someone being agitated by a fly flying around them. And Leo goes on, quote, you know why his bow has cobwebs? And I just wanted this to be like the thing where it would be a call and response, like why his bow has cobwebs? Why does his bow have cobwebs? He used it to hunt for dates, but he can't find one. Which, okay.
Got him.
Okay, got him. This is also, I feel like Statler and Waldorf would be loving this.
Yeah.
Just like if each one of these jokes was ended with, no, I feel like it would fit in perfectly. Only one nymph laughs, but the others all elbow her to stop. Narcissus turns and glares at Leo, asking who he is. And the response is interesting. Leo says, quote, I'm the supersized McSchizzle, man. I'm Leo Valdez, bad boy supreme, and the ladies love a bad boy. And I have a long, ever-running list of questions that I'm going to ask Uncle Rick if I ever truly get him on the podcast. Asking him how he came up with, quote, I'm the supersized McSchizzle man. I really got to know, because this is, I think, the most hello, fellow kids Uncle Rick has ever been.
Especially in like 2012.
Yeah.
Like if this was being written in like 2005, that is something a 13-year-old boy would say.
Right.
Less so then.
Yeah, this one came out in 2012.
Yeah.
And let me just check. Yeah, Izzo, H-O-V-A by Jay-Z, came out in...
I'm going to say 2003.
I would guess 2003. Let's see what it says. 2001. Wow. So it's a perfect
We're a solid
11 years dated
off.
reference.
Yeah.
Where an older man would be like, yeah, like...
That's what the kids say.
I mean, it was definitely a thing in like the mid 2000s, especially as like Snoop Dogg got to, very, very popular, just like general popularity. But like by 2012, I don't think anyone was shizzling. We weren't McShizzling, and we certainly weren't supersized McShizzling.
Too old to McShizzle, too young to Skibbity.
Yeah. I guess the supersize and the Mick is like somehow a McDonald's reference.
I know, it's definitely a McDonald's thing. Yeah, it's definitely because of the supersize and the Mick.
Supersize. And when did the Supersize Me documentary come
I watched
out?
that in high school, so before 2006.
Yeah, like, my goodness, so dated, but so perfect. But yes, I'm the supersized McShizzle man. I'm Leo Valdez, Bad Boy Supreme. And
Bad Boy Supreme is good.
yeah.
That actually rips.
Bad Boy Supreme rips. It does a little bit sound like a Taco Bell order. Like, oh, can I get the Bad Boy Supreme? Like, a little tiny bit of that. But I don't know. It's a very interesting thing.
That's what Doctor Strange orders, because he's the Sorcerer Supreme.
Okay. Echo, of course, repeats, love a bad boy, to Leo saying that everyone loves a bad boy. And then Leo autographs a nymph's arm and goes, Narcissus is a loser. He's so weak. How weak is he? He can't bench press a Kleenex. He's so lame. When you look up lame on Wikipedia, it's got a picture of Narcissus, only the picture's so ugly, no one ever checks it out. Not your best work, Leo.
Too wordy. Too many words.
Too long. Yeah, use of lame aside, which of course 2012, like that's going to be what it's going to be. Like updating if you look up someone in a dictionary, it's a picture of you, but then adding more, like it just doesn't make sense. And also saying that the picture is so ugly that no one ever checks it out. I've never been warned about a particular Wikipedia page of like, oh, don't look up Mark Ruffalo's Wikipedia page. It has a really ugly picture of him on it. Be like, oh, thanks for the warning. I'm never going to Wikipedia Mark Ruffalo. It's just a very weird specific thing where I don't feel like I ever know the pictures that show up on a Wikipedia.
Let's look up Mark Ruffalo on Wikipedia.
Oh, it probably looks great.
Here's the thing. Every so often you get someone's IMDb or their Wikipedia where it's just like, you gotta get your agent to update this. It's bad. It's bad. How's the rough look?
It looks looks good. He's at Comic-Con.
It's a good photo.
Yeah,
looks great.
He's looking
Looks
at-
great.
He's on a panel. It's him at 2017 San Diego Comic-Con. That was 8 years ago, though. That's the thing that I don't get. These are like super duper mega famous people, and they're rocking almost a decade-old photo
It's
on
a
Wiki.
whole thing. It's a whole thing. The Wikipedia editors, new photos. It's a whole thing.
Because there's a Potterless Wikipedia page, and there's not one for me individually, but there is one for Potterless. There's the whole thing of like you can't make your own Wikipedia page, but like it's frustrating because there's certain things on the Potterless Wikipedia page that are not true, and I want to be like, oh, I know the right answer, but I can't.
You
Like
can't
by the
do it,
law
yeah.
of Wikipedia. I know that like when the Potterless Wikipedia thing was being created by listeners of the show, that like the Wikipedia editors were like super intense and like didn't believe some of the things that people are saying. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with Wikipedia editors, but I'm unsurprised to hear that it is super duper intense.
Yeah, I can only add a photo of me to IMDb if I pay for IMDb Pro, which is like $30 a month. And I'm like, that ain't worth it.
Can get free trials, which I did do.
Yeah, but then you lose editing rights.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. It's super weird.
Wait, so if you had IMDb Pro and you change your photo and then you lost IMDb Pro, they'd be like, your photo is deleted.
I don't know what happens, and I don't care enough to find out.
Well, and IMDb is also strange because I'm like they're starting to put podcasts on IMDb. So like every now and then I'll get a Google alert that's like, hey, another episode of Potters was added to IMDb, and I'm like, cool. But I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. The internet, it's strange. But weirdly, Wikipedia, as I've said in this podcast before, has like come around. It's like now the most reputable news source.
Oh, yeah.
Like out of anything on the internet. And like when we were growing up in high school, it was like, don't you dare ever use Wikipedia as a source. You can't trust anything. Now you can't trust anything except for Wikipedia. So I guess good on the super intense editors. But anyway, Percy Jackson. Narcissus asks Leo what he's talking about, as he, Narcissus, is amazing, and everyone knows he's amazing. And Leo responds, quote, amazing at pure suck. If I was as suck as you, I'd drown myself. Oh, wait, you already did that. And the nonsensicalness of saying, if I was as suck as you, like, that's just bad grammar. The ending it with, if I was as suck as you, I'd drown myself. Oh, wait, you already did that? That's a pretty good. They're like, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good diss. And it's good enough that a different nymph giggles, and then another joins in. So there could be at least 3 nymphs on Team Leo. Narcissus scowls, which narrator Leo notes detracts from his beauty just a little bit. And then Leo really starts hamming it up. Echo is cheering him on, and she positions herself in the middle of the group of nymphs so that they might think that it's one of them cheering on Leo and supporting him. They end up calling Leo funny and, quote, cute in a scrawny way, which Leo has a response. He says that he invented scrawny, and scrawny is the new sizzling hot, and oh, he's got scrawny. He says that Narcissus is such a loser. How much of a loser is he? That even the underworld didn't want him, and he couldn't get ghost girls to date him. And then one nymph, and of course Echo and Repetition, go, ew! So fun, so fun.
Not getting ghost girls to date you is like such a loser move.
I mean, the line again of not even the underworld wanted him, it's good. Like some of these burns, Leo must have fire powers because he is doing a great burn. Speaking of Wikipedia, one of my favorite burn-related things to do is when someone burns someone on the internet and then you just reply with the Wikipedia page of lists of burn centers in the United States.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I used to hit people with that all the time. Do it on Reddit, little hyperlink. So fun. Always fun. Narcissus stands up and demands that Leo stop. He says that this must be a trick. And he turns back to the pond, and when he does, he sees that the bronze plate is gone. He demands that it be returned to him at once. And one nymph is still Team Leo, but everybody else immediately goes back to being on Narcissus' side. Narcissus insists, which is a fun tongue twister, Narcissus insists that he's the beautiful one and Leo stole the mirror. He threatens to leave unless it is brought back, which would of course convince the nymphs to do his bidding. They all gasp because this sounds horrible. One sees it and points to Hazel. She is atop the crater now, lugging the bronze as fast as she can. The nymphs scream, get it back. Echo does, but murmurs it like it's against her will and she doesn't agree with it. Narcissus then wields his bow and notches an arrow before saying that he will like the first person to get it almost as much as he likes himself. And he says that he may even kiss them after he's done kissing his own reflection. The nymphs, of course, are hyped. Narcissus also adds one more order on top of this, kill the demigods. And narrator Leo says that when he says this, he, quote, glares very handsomely at Leo. He says that they are not as cool as him.
I do like the Hazel is just dragging it. Like, why not just use your ground powers and just move it through the ground?
I mean, I think it might be so heavy that,
Yeah.
kind of like what you were saying,
Yeah.
her ground powers are just what is needed to
get it going.
get it to be dragged. Because 5 foot diameter is
big.
like, that's, like, I'm 6 feet, so imagine like me and then a whole circle. That's huge. And I don't know how heavy bronze, I don't know the density of bronze off the top of my head.
Celestial bronze.
And especially celestial. Does that make it heavier? I would think so.
I would
Bronze
think lighter.
Oh,
I would
lighter.
think
Ooh,
lighter.
why lighter? I would say
because
it's
because
bronze
because
plus
like
magic.
because the best way to build armor is like really light but really strong.
Oh,
And if
I
it's
like
if it's armor for the gods, they're gonna be really really light.
It's like carbon fiber.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing about this is that Narcissus is like, it's my mirror. But like, if I'm just looking at something in a pond, it's not mine. Like, that's not how possession works.
He is just the Greek version of the someone having a thing and then the I made this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's very
him,
much
like,
that meme. It's
I
like-
found this. I see myself in it.
Yeah.
This is mine.
If I'm just looking at a cool plate in a lake, that's not my plate unless I grab the plate. And he didn't.
he didn't grab it.
He's
You're
just
right.
looking at it.
Finders keepers, and he didn't do any action to grab it.
Yeah. You got to keep a little.
You gotta do a little
before you
bit.
become a keeper.
True. Yeah. Narrator Leo says, quote, Leo could run pretty fast when someone was trying to kill him. Sadly, he had a lot of practice. So Leo passes Hazel, which is not hard given that she's lugging a giant hunk of bronze. He grabs part of the metal and sees Narcissus notching an arrow, but since the arrow is so old and brittle, it splinters and it doesn't actually end up firing. The book then says, quote, ow, he yelled very attractively. My manicure! And I can only hope that if people ever write a book about me, they describe the things I do in this way. You know, he took the stage lusciously. he danced fantastically. Like, I can only hope that that is what's going on. Ooh, a device has been added to my account. A Mac now has access to iMessage and FaceTime. If you don't recognize this device, remove it in the settings. What's going on? Is it me? Or is someone trying to hack? I think I know exactly what this is. I think my dad, who is currently hanging out with Kelly and my mom, they're helping watch the baby. I think my dad has opened my old MacBook so that he can watch the Yankee game. I think that is exactly what happened, and I am going to timestamp. It is 9:18. I will have to ask Kelly, did Joel try to turn on the Yankee game at 9:15? Hopefully it goes well.
That happens like any time I use my iPad, which I don't use very often. It's like, hey, we found this new thing. I'm like, I've used this before.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've titled it Shubes' MacBook Pro.
Oh, well, that makes okay.
But if something showed up and it was like Richard, I'd be like, who's Richard? Okay, cool. Anyway, Percy Jackson. So, narrator Leo says, quote, normally nymphs were quick, at least the ones at Camp Half-Blood were, but these were burdened with posters, t-shirts, and other Narcissus with a TM. Great note to add. Narcissus merchandise. The nymphs also weren't great at working as a team. They kept stumbling over one another, pushing and shoving. Echo made things worse by running among them, tripping and tackling as many as she could. Echo's putting in work. I love it. But even with all of these hindrances, they are still gaining on them because it's slow moving, hugging this big piece of bronze. Leo tells Hazel to call Arion. She says that she already has, and then they run for the beach. And they see the Argo 2 Simba's Pride, but it's too far. They can't swim there, and they wouldn't have been able to even without the bronze, so they need another plan. Leo looks back, and the mob is running over the dunes, led by Narcissus. The nymphs have cobbled together weapons. They've got rocks. They have wooden clubs that are strung with flowers, and they have squirt guns. And I don't know, where did they get the squirt guns from?
I don't know.
I don't know why they would
why-
have them,
yeah.
but they do have them, and I think it's very interesting. And I guess they could be useful because Leo has firepower, so like maybe that's actually like a good counter. Leo has one of his hands flame up, and then he says that direct combat isn't really his thing, which is true. I had made fun of him for this, so I like that he's pointing it out, but like in The Lost Hero, the only fighting he does is in the Ma Gasket situation, he makes the mechanical things attack them, and then when he fights Enceladus at Mount Diablo, he brings the little tinkery thing to spring the tearing down the forest equipment to life. So he has really not actually fought anyone directly. So I'm glad that he has the self-awareness to recognize, like, I'm not good at this. I usually like make other things attack people.
I'm a support build. I'm here to like help out the people doing the damage.
Right. Is there anything that I can, a weak link in a chandelier that I can shoot a fire thing to drop on someone? I'm not a direct guy. Hazel tells him to hold the bronze and get behind him as she draws her sword. Echo repeats, "Get behind me," and she gets ahead of the mob, stops in front of Leo, turns and spreads her arms like she's going to protect him, which I think is very sweet. I don't know how effective it will be, but it's very sweet. Then Leo calls her a brave nymph and says that he's glad that she's on Team Leo. He tells her to forget about Narcissus because she's way too good for him. The nymphs then surround them in a semicircle formation, and Narcissus orders them to kill. The nymphs rush forward, but the sand explodes. And at first when the sand exploded, I thought that Hazel was doing some sort of like cool rise up from the ground situation, but it's not that type of sand explosion. It is Arion. He has appeared seemingly from nowhere, and he kicks up a sandstorm, so I can only imagine it goes doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And and then that kicking up of the sand gets calcium carbonate in all of the nymphs' eyes, so they are distracted. Sorry, I just keep thinking about the song Sandstorm now. I just want to rave. I can't hold on to the microphone. I got a fist bump. The calcium carbonate gets all up in their eyes, and they're all distracted and falling down and confused. Leo then screams, "I love this horse," at the top of his lungs, and he says that they can't leave Echo, but Echo, of course, being Echo, says leave Echo, but in a tone that makes it clear that she does want them to leave her. And the narrator, Leo, says, quote, "She smiled, and for the first time, Leo could clearly see her face. She was really pretty. Her eyes were bluer than he'd realized. How had he missed that? Classic Leo. Has there been a single woman that Leo has not found attractive? I don't think so." Which, again, very teenage boy of him. But I think he is 100% success rate of girl interacts with him. And by the end of their interaction, he's like, "Oh, my God."
Did he ever, like, say Annabeth was?
Oh, no. In this book, he distinctively was like, Annabeth is not for me because she's blonde.
Yes, right.
But everything else, Thalia, Keone, now Echo, Hazel. I'm sure there's other examples. But, like, he at least with Piper, like, recognized that, you know, when she had the whole makeover thing that she looked better. So I feel like he's really teen heart eyes over everybody. Yeah. But Echo has found her way into the list that includes everyone except Annabeth. Because how dare she have blonde hair?
How dare she? Yeah.
Now, Leo asks Echo if she thinks that she really can save Narcissus, and she repeats, "Save Narcissus," but with confidence, so she thinks she can. I don't know how she's going to do it, but she's going to try.
She's going to try.
Narrator Leo says, quote, "Leo could tell that she meant it. She'd been given a second chance at life, and she was determined to use it to save the guy she loved, even if he was a completely hopeless, though very handsome, moron." Just great turn of phrase. Leo wants to stop her, but Echo kisses him on the cheek and pushes him away gently. Hazel calls for Leo to join her. The nymphs start to get back to their feet. They're getting ready to kind of charge again. Leo looks around for Echo, but he can't find her. She is sort of camouflaged back into the scenery, and then he agrees to join Hazel. He gets on top of Arion behind Hazel as he was riding before, and then Arion takes off as Narcissus shouts, "Bring me back! Bring me back!" And I was wondering, was he like telling the nymphs to bring him back to the pond? I was confused of what.
Oh no, it's because the
bronze.
The bronze is him because it's
right,
the big picture of him because he thinks he's in it. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, he really doesn't understand the reflective properties of water. No.
Well, but he does. It's weird because he does know that the water would reflect him, but he knows that it reflects him better with the plate under it.
Does he? Or I thought he turned down the mirror because the tiny little mirror because the bronze thing did a better job.
I could be misremembering, but I thought there was a point where he's like, yeah, I know the water would be reflective, but like the gold of the bronze makes me look way better.
Okay, but now the bring me back, that's true. It gets to your point earlier where it is kind of hard to tell like what he thinks is happening, which is fun. So as Leo and Hazel ride away, Leo remembers Nemesis telling him that Echo and Narcissus may teach them a lesson. And the narrator Leo says, quote, "Leo had thought she'd meant Narcissus, but now he wondered if the real lesson for him was Echo, invisible to her brethren, cursed to love someone who didn't care for her. A seventh wheel," he thinks. He tried to shake that thought. He clung to the sheet of bronze like a shield. He was determined to never forget Echo's face. She deserved at least one person who saw her and knew how good she was. Leo closed his eyes, but the memory of her smile was already fading. It's sad, but I do like him trying to take this lesson to heart and kind of honor her legacy by trying to change his frame of mind, and maybe he won't feel as bad about being the seventh wheel, or at least he can think, there's someone else who's in a similar position to me, and we understand each other.
Yeah. Echo is definitely one of the most affecting minor characters to me in the whole series. Like, I think of that meme from like Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine where it's like I've only had Echo for one day, but if anything would happen to her, it's like, yeah, she's just sweet and nice, and like I think she has a good lesson in there for Leo specifically. Yeah.
It gives me a similar feeling to when Percy was on Calypso's island in the fourth book. Just like this one chapter only person that we've met. There's a bit of like a relationship, love interest kind of feeling there. And it's just something that like isn't meant to be. It's not going to work out, but you think that the boy, as he continues on his journey, will remember her, and you feel bad for them instantly. And it's a really short amount of time, but you're right. By the end of the chapter, you're like, oh my gosh, poor Echo. And she was really sweet. And I also hope that she ends up being okay, but who knows? Who's to say? But that is the end of chapter 8, which I have retitled, I Become Hot Stuff, which I thought with Leo it could be a fun, like, oh, you start the chapter, maybe you think flames. But no, he writes hot stuff on his biceps. Yeah. Do you have a retitling of chapter 8?
Yes, it is, Your Narcissus is So Ugly.
Very good, very good. Starring Wilmer Valderrama. Yeah. But that is the end of chapter 8. That is the end of this portion of the episode for now. If you're listening to the podcast after the fact, we'll take a break and then get into Q&A. So let's all say goodbye to the podcast people one last time. Goodbye.
Hey, Mike from the future here. Just because this is a longer episode, we're going to take another break here for some more ads. And then once they're complete, we'll get into the very fun Q&A that we did in Cleveland.
Now we can get into Q&A. Woo! So let's do it. Some folks send in some fun questions to thenewestolympian@gmail.com. So let's do those questions. The first one is from Jaden. Jaden from the merch table. Hey, Mike. So happy to be here and see a TNO live show. I am an admissions advisor from Eastern Michigan University and constantly travel for work. I enjoy listening to TNO to get me through the long car rides all over Michigan. Being the higher education nerd I am, my question for you is, if the new crew from the Heroes of Olympus series were to study at college/university, which institution would they choose? And what would be their major? Institution, you mean like what university? Oh, okay. So I think we've done this with like college majors, but I don't think we've done it with schools. So I think let's try to keep it just to what schools would people do. And if you can do local ones and maybe either delight or upset the people in the crowd, because I don't know much about Ohio State except for that it's the Ohio State. Yeah. And that's kind of where it starts and ends.
Yeah. Okay. If I'm not thinking Ohio universities, because I thought of this before you said it, like Jason Duke. 100%.
Okay.
But if I'm going to stick to Ohio, then it's definitely OSU for Jason.
Okay. And OSU is Ohio State.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
The Ohio State?
Ohio State.
The Ohio State.
Yes. Who is closest to me and just kind of ended up at Cleveland State? Maybe Percy.
Okay.
Maybe.
Just like easy. He feels like a hometown kind of kid. Like if I was going to pick a college for Percy, I feel like he would want to go somewhere in New York. Like he would want to go to like NYU or something nearby. Annabeth to me feels like a Stanford person, like the classic idea, like they have it all kind of school.
Yeah. So maybe Kenyon College in Ohio. Yeah.
Cool. You could say anything. And I know. Like, yeah, that sounds great.
Leo OU for sure.
Okay.
But he does love engineering. So like maybe like I think of like the partyness of OU, and that makes sense. But in terms of like what he actually does, then definitely Case Western.
Okay.
Who would go out to like Toledo? I know they have a good pharmacy program, and not much beyond that. Let's see. Who do we have left? Who's left?
Let's see. Frank. Nico even. Ella, the harpy, is also listed as a suggestion in this email.
Yeah. Frank could make sense at Kent.
Okay.
I would imagine.
If I'm going to go with some like just anywhere universities, I would put Ella the harpy at one of the fancy British universities that has like really ornate libraries, like Oxford or Cambridge. Like she would love the fancy old school library that's like older than America. I think Frank could go to LSU because they have a tiger on campus, and I feel like he would enjoy, he could turn into a tiger and hang out with Mike the Tiger. And then, Nico, what is the most like moody? He would go to some art school like Pratt University or something. Like he would go to like a really like
Oberlin.
Ooh, okay. Cool. Yeah, that's good. That's fun. A lot of different options. All right. This one actually comes from Lucy at the Columbus show last night, but she told me about it after, and I thought it was really good. It's very chapter relevant, so we should definitely answer it on this episode. So she says, "Hi, Mike. Thanks so much for coming to Ohio. My question is, who do you think the rest of the 7 would see if they met Nemesis? Thanks for your time. Sincerely, Lucy." So we have to pick what would the other 7. So we saw Hazel and we saw Frank. So Hazel saw her 3rd grade teacher that was really mean to her. Did I say Frank? I meant Leo.
Yeah.
Leo saw his Aunt Rosa. So I could see like 3 people seeing Hera. Like Percy, Annabeth, and Jason could all see Hera. Well, but Percy might see Ares, but he did.
Oh no,
get
I think
revenge
he'd
on
see
him.
whatever is his like father-in-law.
Oh, Smelly Gabe.
Yeah, him,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's a good answer. I could see
would say
him seeing
that.
Smelly Gabe because it feels like kind of maybe unresolved. Maybe Luke, but that feels more resolved. But yeah, I like that. Annabeth, I feel like Annabeth is the most likely for Hera to show up. Yeah. Jason could be Hera as well. I don't know if there's anyone else that he's truly upset with. And then we would need the rest of the 7. So who would Frank see? Who does Frank want revenge against? I guess maybe who? Gosh, he also could be another one for Hera. Dang.
I mean, I feel like a lot of them have just like they've kind of defeated their grudges in the one book that they've all been in so far.
Right. I guess
just kind of tricky.
I could see like I don't know how to do one person, but like Frank could do like the embodiment of like war. Like it's hard to do the embodiment of war because you would think Mars because he's mad about how his mother died.
Yeah.
But
we could just make up a person like the guy that cut him from the football team in like Pee Wee football or something.
maybe since he has a better relationship with Mars, he could pick Bellona, like the Roman goddess of war, because he's still kind of upset about his mom being lost on the battlefield. And then I think that is everyone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I wonder, like, who would Nico see as revenge? I guess Zeus, maybe, because Zeus is the reason that, like, his mom got bolted away. Like way back when with Bianca. So I don't know. It could go a lot of different ways, but it also feels like a lot of the roads lead to Hera. Alrighty, this one is from Melissa. Subject line: Cleveland Show, 1.5x speed listener because 2.0 is chaos. I think 1.5 is chaos, so power to you. With the opening of Universal's new Epic Universe, what would Disney's version of a Percy Jackson theme world look like? What would be the main attraction / ride, entertainment show, and theme restaurant? Theme restaurant's got to be a thing where all the food is blue. Or they just do like the full-fledged Camp Half-Blood mess hall where they've got, the big things, and then maybe all the trash cans or the compost bins are like, make an offering to the gods. Please compost your your food scraps.
Yeah. In Epcot, there's like the German food hall thing, so they could do something like that. I think Percy's ride is obviously some kind of log ride.
Oh, like a big log flume?
Big like watery kind of thing for him.
It could be like the Jurassic Park one in Universal or isn't there just one of the ones where like you go through an indoor thing for a lot and then it ends in a big drop? I feel like that could be fun.
Nico and Hazel are an indoor roller coaster.
Oh, that's really fun. Kind of like a Space Mountain where it's like really dark and maybe only lit by like precious gems and stuff. That's really fun. Ooh, Grover could have like one of those kids rides. It's all the magical beasts that he saw with Pan in the fourth book, and they're on the just like Dumbo ride that just goes up and down in a circle. Yeah. Annabeth would be one of those things like at Epcot where it's like a kind of educational, interactive indoor thing.
Yes. The spirit of agriculture.
Is that what
that ride is?
Living with the land?
Living with the land.
Yeah, God, I love living with the land. Yeah. Frank could be like Animal Kingdom if he had a ride. Like they could do like the safari, like Jungle Cruise.
Or the carousel.
The
different animals he could be.
That could be the Frank and Hazel combo ride.
Yeah.
Animals because Frank, and Carousel because in the 1940s that was the height of theme parks.
Yeah.
And so they could put all those different things into a Percy Jackson world, and I think it'd be fun.
A pretty good
entertainment show, though. I could see it being like a train for Camp Half-Blood, and kind of like one of those things where you bring someone from the crowd, and like here's how you sword fight, and they have a stunt double and all that kind of stuff. Like it could be very much like the Camp Half-Blood training grounds.
I got to play the skipper from Gilligan's Island at one of those.
When
I went to Disney.
What did you have to do as skipper?
I crashed the boat, I guess. Because that's what happens in the Gilligan's Island.
Well done. What
a weird thing. That was like the 90s. Like Gilligan's Island was still on like as a thing, but like not that kids were that well aware of. Very weird.
I just remember it always being such a weird thing that they went on a 3-hour tour, which feels like a very normal amount of tour time for a boat tour.
They went way out there. It was a
it's a 3-hour tour, and they're like at a marooned island. Like, how are you going to come back in 3 hours?
They couldn't have gotten that far.
They're in a speedboat. Yeah. Okay, so this one is from Landis. Landis says, hello, Mike and Eric. My name is Landis. 12. Oh my goodness, thanks for coming to the show. I was wondering if the 7 were different brands of Coke, what would they be? P.S. I mean soda brands. I apologize that I've made fun of people who refer to all soda as Coke. So, if each of the 7 is a different soda, what are they? Percy's going to be the Mountain Dew that's blue.
Okay, Baja Blast.
Yeah, or Mountain Dew Baja
name.
Blast. Sorry, yeah, I'm not even thinking of the teal one. Either that or Dr. Pepper, because canonically he loves Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
Oh, but he also does love Coke that's blue, because that's like his drink. So he's got a lot of options.
I think all the guys are a different Mountain Dew, quite frankly.
Yeah, Jason does kind of feel like Mountain Dew Code Red, and I don't know why. It just like
I know, right? Yeah.
And then Leo feels like regular Mountain Dew.
Right.
Oh no!
Yeah.
They're all teenagers, so I get it. Hazel is like cream soda, because back in the day, but specifically from a soda parlor with a big like curly straw. And then let's see, Frank. Is there like a Canada dry ginger ale is Frank? There we go. Annabeth. What kind of soda would Annabeth be?
New Coke.
New Coke? Ooh.
Why.
I could see her being like Coke Zero or something, because she's like, it's all the good, but none of the bad. It's optimized Coke.
No, but Coke Zero's for boys and Diet Coke's for girls. It's like a well-established
I'm not
fact.
a big soda drinker, so I am not well versed in the gender of
I'm not saying that is a belief I hold. It is just something that if you look at the world, it seems to be true. It seems that guys drink Coke Zero and women drink Diet Coke way more often than the reverse.
Interesting.
It's very odd.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess because boys are like, I can't be on a diet. I'm a man. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That literally is how our household also works. Like I drink Coke Zero and Kelsey drinks Diet Coke, and we don't drink a lot of it. But when we get it, we each get our own thing because we both think the other tastes bad.
They should make this house divided packs.
Yeah.
Where it's a 12-pack and 6 are Coke Zero and 6 are Diet Coke.
This is the only gendered thing I truly believe in.
Did we say everybody? I think we did.
I think so.
All right, cool. So many different sodas, so many options. And then Coach Hedge would be For Loco. All right.
Yeah.
All right, this one.
Or maybe someone's Moxie. I had Moxie when I was in New England.
What's Moxie?
It's bad, is what it is. It's like, what if soda was bitter?
Interesting. All right, this one. Who did I forget? Piper. Oh, thank you. Piper. She, I feel like Piper, it's hard because she's like, wants to like downplay. Yeah. Like, she's all about like, oh, I don't want to be like glitzy and glamorous. So she wants to be more like a chill, like down to earth soda. Like, that does kind of feel like ginger ale, but not
orange soda.
Orange soda, like a Fanta.
Chill,
Yeah, it's orange. It's healthy. Yeah, okay. It's a fruit. All right, so this one is from Carissa. It says, hey, Mike. My mom and I love the podcast and have been listening since the Potterless days. So excited to be here in person. Here's my question. What Taylor Swift songs would you put in the background of romantic scenes in the book? Example, Annabeth and Percy's underwater kiss, Frank and Hazel sitting next to each other in the back seat, Annabeth and Percy's reunion, etc. So, oh man, okay. Are you well-versed in the Taylor Swift?
Not in ones that would be romantic.
That's hard, because for me, it's
I'm like Bad Blood.
That's the thing.
The Kendrick Lamar one.
My particular Taylor Swift songs is I like all of like the hype ones. Like I like Trouble and stuff like that. I feel like Love Story is a good one for Annabeth and Percy's underwater kiss, just because it's very like a cutesy teenage kind of thing. Frank and Hazel in the car, because that one's like they're driving away, and it is like kind of high energy and stuff. I'm realizing I'm like not good with this.
Yeah, I really don't have any help here.
Ooh. I've just Googled Taylor Swift songs, and there's a lot of the good ones.
There's a lot of them. Folks, I don't know if you've heard of this lady, but she's prolific.
She's done a lot. Oh, man. Driving away, like, I feel like Ready for It has the energy of like a high-speed chase, but I don't know if that's like a positive one. It's hard because their songs are either like, I'm in love, or like, you've wronged me, Jake Gyllenhaal. So I don't want to like accidentally pick one of those. So I'll pick Ready for It for Frank and Hazel, because it's like, well, this is our first like cute moment together and it's really intense. Like, are you ready for this? Because this will be our relationship as demigods. And then Annabeth and Percy's reunion, I am not sure. I know you were Trouble when you walked in. I mean, I love Trouble, so I kind of want to give that, like, that could be a good one of just, like, they had just started dating and things immediately went bad. So, like, Annabeth does recognize, like, I knew this would be trouble. I didn't know it would happen immediately, but, like, we're in this. So, like, those two, I feel like, have similar energies. That's a good question. Kelly would be far more well-versed to answer that one than me, because she's well-versed in the entire discography.
No, if someone asked me what ska songs we wanted to put in here, no.
Do you have an answer? Okay. Real big fish all over the place. Okay, this one is from, is it Jillian and Carissa? Jillian, okay, I didn't know. All right, so Jillian and Carissa. Subject line, Ohio now has its first Wawa. Ho, 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 I'm excited. What part of town is it in? Southern Ohio. How far away from here? Too far. Mike, my daughter and I are longtime listeners to the Newest Olympian and to Pride and Prejudice. It's a great podcast that they do stuff about the Jane Austen universe. Which PJO characters would play which Pride and Prejudice characters in a movie and/or if they made a Muppet Pride and Prejudice, which Muppets would play which characters? Okay. I think we've done Percy Jackson to Pride and Prejudice characters, so let's do the other one of if they make Muppet Pride and Prejudice. Which Muppets would play which characters? Are you versed in Pride and Prejudice?
I've seen the movie a couple times.
The Keira Knightley one?
Yes, it is Kelsey's favorite movie.
I mean, it's good. I prefer the Colin Firth TV show one, but mainly just because I feel like the story needs more than just 2 hours.
I mean, do we just do the obvious thing of Miss Piggy and Kermit?
It feels
Kermit doing the fist.
He just
This movie. Oh no, it's this. It's not a fist. He shakes his hand like that.
I feel like Darcy, we need like a grumpier person. Like I feel like we need Sam Eagle to be Darcy.
That's good.
Like with the really furrowed brow, I feel like we need that. And then Elizabeth Bennet, I just doesn't feel like Miss Piggy. It feels
No, it definitely doesn't, but it would be very funny.
I mean, it would be, but I feel like she would be. No, Miss Piggy has to be Lady Catherine de Bourgh. That'd be so funny.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
That'd be so funny.
The cousin that's trying to marry the other cousin is
Jane or Lady?
the guy that's played by Tom Hollander that talks about how good the potatoes are or whatever.
I have not seen the movie more than like once, so I would need help. Which characters are you talking about? Mr. Collins. Okay, so kind of like the dopey.
Maybe that's like
okay.
Rizzo the Rat.
Rizzo the Rat. That is good for Mr. Collins. That's really good. Yeah. I could also see like Fozzie Bear just because he's kind of but who's gonna be Lizzie? That's hard. Maybe okay. No. So if we're doing Muppet Pride and Prejudice, if you do it like you do in some of the other Muppet movies, like the most important person is the hero.
Yes.
So I think Elizabeth Bennet has to be the one non-Muppet.
Yes.
And to cross us over, let's make that Annabeth. So Annabeth Chase is Elizabeth Bennet, the one non-Muppet in Muppets Pride and Prejudice. And then, let's see, who would be Mr. Bennet? I mean, Mr. Bennet could be... No, Fozzie Bear should be Mr. Bennet.
Yes,
That'd be good. He'd be a great Mr. Bennet.
Yeah.
And then...
Can we get Waldorf and...
I was going to say, how do we get Statler and Waldorf into the mix? Can we make them... Can we make them Kitty and Lydia?
Why not? We can do whatever we want.
I would love it. Let's do that. And then who's going to be Mr. Bingley? Like someone who's like, Kermit could be Mr. Bingley. I think that could be fun. Yeah. Oh man, that's good. I could do this for hours. This is great. I love it. They need to make more. It's been a long time since they've done a Muppet movie like that, right? Like an IP Muppet movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, the last one might be Treasure Island and Christmas Carol, whichever one's been
like, what do we got to do to get that? I feel it's like the check writes itself.
They did that whole weird Muppet show on ABC where they were like driving around LA and like people that were like in Hollywood.
There's all the things that they're rebooting in Hollywood, and how are we not getting Muppet IP that is within the public domain? Like, how are we not getting Muppet Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah.
Gosh, it's right there. It's right there. Alrighty, this one is from Kelly. It says, a question from the very Midwest state of Ohio. If the characters had to get Misney, the eyebrow guy, I know Misney. I have been caught up to speed on the lore of Misney. We passed a billboard that said happy birthday to him. So.
Someone wished Disney a happy birthday
It was like
via billboard,
like
which is the best way to do it.
It was like Ted and Billy or something.
Yeah,
It's
on 90 East.
Yeah, but Misney, just great. And we also saw a billboard that didn't have his face or any phone number or any information on it. It just, really big letters, just said Misney and nothing else. Nothing else. So if the characters had to get Misney to fight for them, who would they be suing and why? Oh,
I mean,
man.
probably class action lawsuit against Hera.
Against Hera? Yeah, that's Annabeth. And then I feel like, but class action, all of them. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, I feel like Grover's going to go for like an environmental rights one.
Yeah.
I could see Percy going for something of like pollution, like suing like Exxon for like oil spill in the ocean. I mean, I also could see like someone, this could also just be Percy, maybe Grover, like suing because of like Dare Enterprises taking over land that they didn't actually have the right to, and they're trying to build an apartment complex or tear down a historical landmark of sorts.
Leo is suing because someone got in a fender bender with Hestus.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, I think, most of these cases.
He's suing King Midas for having like unauthorized weapons that shot down Festus. I could see Tyson suing if he got like a spoiled batch of peanut butter, so he has to sue Jif.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of really good options there. Maybe Piper does some sort of suing in like the Hollywood world if there's some sort of like copyright thing with like a movie her dad was in. Yeah.
And he'd make him pay.
Misney makes him pay. All right, this one's from Amanda. It says, Cleveland is super. Hi, Mike. Welcome back to Cleveland. Since Cleveland is the birthplace of Superman and Captain Underpants, North Ridgeville is close enough. What would our heroes, Percy, Annabeth, Leo, Piper, Hazel, and Jason's superhero names be if they decided to fight crime? So our 7 have cool superhero names. What would they go with? I mean, Jason's going to be Captain America.
Yeah. Are we going for existing?
No, I think we should probably come up with new ones. That was just a silver plate slam dunk home run bit to bring back and back and back.
Because you took my Aquaman joke for Percy.
No, that's great. Percy's Aquaman is perfect. He could be like Aqua Lad or Aqua Boy or Water Lad instead of Aquaman.
Yeah.
And then who? I mean, Annabeth with Wise Girl just like feels like a superhero-y enough name. Seaweed Brain not so much, but Wise Girl does.
Seaweed Brain's actually not bad for Percy.
It's not that bad. Leo, I know this is a Spider-Man bad guy, but the Tinkerer is fun for Leo. Yeah. But Leo could be hot stuff. As canonized in this chapter.
We've got all the like ground stuff with Hazel. I feel like there's something there. I can't think of a good pun.
Not the name. Underminer. But it could be something. I mean, or something like precious metal-y. Either Golden Girl. Yeah, that's kind of fun. That has a good like classic DC sort of ring to it. And then anything for Piper, something with her charm speak has to be there. Like, no, I don't know if like Silver Tongue or like the Wordsmith or even
the Wordsmith is good.
Even the Charm Speaker, like that sounds like comic booky enough. Where you can be like, the Charm Speaker. I could see that working out. Yeah, a lot of fun. And Frank, something like some sort of name with all of the animal changing feels like. I mean, we've got like Shapeshifter. Yeah, we've got Beast Boy and Teen Titans and stuff like that. So there's a lot of fun stuff there. Cool. All right, this one is from Sawyer. Cleveland rocks is the subject line. Hey, Mike, if you were to choose a power from the Heroes of Olympus series, what would you choose? Like Jason's lightning power or Frank's shape-shifting power. So I guess any of the 7's existing powers, what are you most jealous of? What would you like? I feel like I want Percy's water powers. I think that'd be super useful and very fun to be able to like swim and control boats and not have to dry myself after I get out of the shower, most importantly.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. I like Leo's whole kind of deal. I like building my own computer. I wish I knew how to do other buildy stuff better. Got a house. Be really nice to know how to fix it better.
Want to be a little more handy around the house. Yeah. Okay. This one is from Nikki. Subject line, Cleveland. This one's for you, LeBron James. Welcome back to Cleveland. I hope you get Rising Star coffee and a Cleveland bagel while you're here. I don't drink coffee and I don't eat bagels that aren't in the state of New York. My question is...
They're good bagels.
Sure. by your incredibly low standards. I'm sure they're fine. My question is, all of the nymphs are, I'm not sure they're fine. My question is, all of the nymphs are treating Narcissus like a pop star / boy band member. Out of the guys in the 7, Percy, Leo, Jason, and Frank, what would their roles be if they were in a boy band, like the nice one or the bad boy or the funny one? P.S. I was so stressed when the Guardians played the Yankees in the playoffs this fall because I didn't want to listen to you brag about beating us. Don't worry, I would never brag about beating a team as bad as the Guardians. When's the last time you guys won a World Series? Oh, wait. Oh.
7 days. 7 days I've been with this. This is the ninth time he's mentioned the Yankees.
Nikki signs off this email with, glad you lost the World Series, Nikki. So, really, you should have been rooting for us, because then you get to brag like, but we lost to the people who won the World Series, and then can silver lining it. That's what I like to do. Anyway, the boy band roles. Percy? What would Percy be? I feel like, I don't know if any of them are really the bad. I mean, Nico would be the bad boy. I know he's not one of the 7, but he would be the bad boy in the group. Yeah. I feel like Frank would be the nice one. He definitely feels like that. Percy could be the funny one. Or no, that'd be Leo more likely, because he would be like goofing around and stuff. Percy and then Jason. What would they be? I mean, they could both be kind of like, it could be like an NSYNC situation where they have like 2 leads, but then one kind of like rises to the top where it's like, yeah, we're both the leads, but Percy's the lead. It's like, yeah, we're both the leads, but Justin Timberlake's the lead. Like, it could be something like that. I don't know. Do you have any differing thoughts about the boy band roles?
I don't know them. I don't know boy band roles well enough. Yeah.
I'm deep in it. My sister was all into NSYNC. Yeah. Me and Kelly are both very much into BTS. I'm all there. I'm all the way there. Oh, okay. This one's from Cheyenne. It says Cleveland / Crushers. My name is Cheyenne. My question is if you have any theories on what's going on with Nico or Sammy. So I've already, in a previous episode, kind of done a Sammy guess. So I should do a Nico guess. I haven't done that yet. I feel like Nico is the classic Nico thing where he like went out to try to do something and then found trouble along the way. My guess is that the doors of death are in Rome based on the clues that they've given. Yeah. And I feel like he probably got trapped along the way by like someone trying to stop it. It feels like, based on what they've kind of hinted at, that there is some sort of, like with the angel snuff out thing and all of that from the prophecy. Like, it feels like there is not just Gia, but another evil person kind of managing the doors of death. And I feel like Nico came across that person, and that person has Nico in captivity, potentially along with this like gold and frail person from a woven cage or whatever that was also mentioned. So that would be my thought, is like he is like under captivity because he was investigating the doors of death, and then someone like feared his power, especially because he's a child of Pluto / Hades. And they were like, ooh, this might be too bad. He might know what he's doing. Trap him so that the doors don't get closed. And that's what's going on. Do you have any Nico guesses?
I mean, I think you kind of got the whole thing. There is something that they mentioned when he first kind of pieces out, talking about like how he'll go like from the other side and like try to find them from the underworld.
Right. Yeah.
So like he's definitely like starts in the underworld. So like he could be down there. He could be trapped in Tartarus or something like that.
Interesting.
So like he could be like dealing with that as a problem. But like overall, like that doesn't contradict anything you said.
Yeah.
So like, but I think like he was trying to like be like, I'm going to see what's going on that side.
Right.
And you guys are going to come from the other side and we'll meet up at the doors.
I think it will be a helpful thing that if he has come from the other direction, maybe like once they free him, he's like, I know what to do now. And then they'll get there and maybe they talk to Pluto or Hades or something.
Yeah.
So that's really
but he's dying in 6 days, so something's going on.
Something's going down soon. We love a deadline. All right, this one's from Victoria. Subject line, I ventured here from afar, Pittsburgh. I am soon should be announcing that I'll be doing a Pittsburgh show, so you won't have to adventure. As from, let's go. Alrighty. So it says, hi, Mike, congratulations on fatherhood. I had my first baby around the first time as you and Kelly. Congratulations. So I understand what a special time this is and how tough it must be to be on tour. Yeah. Oh my gosh. She's doing so many things and I want to get back. So she's like, it's been a week and she feels like a new human.
The FaceTimes are adorable to be near though.
Cute. There's been some really, she's been like, Kelly sent me a video of, we have like one of those digital frames that like cycles through photos, and Kelly sent me a video of her just staring at the frame, and it was a picture of me, and she just looks at the camera and then looks at the frame and goes, Dad! And then looks back at the camera, oh my God, I melted.
It's real cute.
Super cute. What has been your favorite part of fatherhood so far? Do you ever read your daughter the books as you read to prep? So I don't read those because she usually gets very bored with non-picture books. She immediately loses interest and will try to like grab the pages and stuff, and I can't blame her. So I usually stick to like board books with pictures for her. But my favorite part of fatherhood so far, I think it's just like the seeing her like experience new things and seeing her like learn about the world, and like it's just so cool to see her like learn things. Like when she first rolled over, it's like she rolled over, and like now, you know, when she's eating solid foods, it's like, oh, she was able to eat this and like didn't have any like trouble chewing it up. Like it's just really cool to see her like slowly, you know, figure more things out, and now she's getting closer to like standing on her own and walking, and it's just like really fun to just like see all of that. And it's honestly really fun. Like it's part of the hard aspect of it. Part of the joy is like team working with Kelly to try and figure out like her sleep schedule, the nap schedule, what should she eat, all this kind of stuff. And it is like fun when you do like accomplish a tough task to be like, oh yeah, we worked together and we found a solution and we did it. So it's fun. It's definitely hard, but it's definitely fun.
Yeah, me and my 2-year-old nephew had a fight with some sticks in the park when I was in Chicago last week. That was pretty good.
Who won?
I did. Beat his ass.
All right, this one's from, is it Tamia and Taylor? Okay, Tamia and Taylor ask, my friend and I drove down from Ann Arbor, Michigan for the show today. My question is, if you had to turn into a flower when you die, what kind of flower would it be? And would certain flowers be less painful? Thanks for a great show. I would turn into a tulip. I love tulips. I'm a big tulip guy. What flower would you want to turn into?
I have like no flower opinions.
Okay.
I like them all generally. I like dandelions. I like the change. I like that they just kind of float away at the end. It's nice. Yeah.
Okay. That's fun. All right, this one is from Veronica. Veronica says, as a Latin teacher, I love your merch. Enjoy the notebook. Yeah, get it all and give it to your students. 2 questions. 1, what cool feature would you want to add to the Argo no matter how wasteful it is? So just like one of those cool like side things. What would you want?
I just played the newest Yakuza game, which is called Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, because they didn't know when to stop naming it, apparently. And in that one, you are on a pirate ship and you have a karaoke machine.
Oh, that's good.
And that rules because doing 24-hour Cinderella is on a pirate ship is delightful in that video game.
I would want an indoor basketball court. That would be so fun. 2, we saw hashtag Team Leo, but what would the tagline be for hashtag Team Mike and hashtag Team Eric? So we have like a team and I guess a boy band heartthrob sort of fandom situation. What is the tagline for our hashtag teams?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because it's like I want to gas myself up, but not so much so that you confuse me with Narcissus. Maybe like hashtag Team Mike, surprisingly sweet, because I feel like sometimes I can come off as either like super duper goofy or, you know, like too like hot takey and stuff. But like deep down, like I'd like to think I'm pretty sweet when it comes to Kelly. I just don't necessarily save it for the like outgoing on stage persona and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I genuinely don't have a good
What
thing
do for you?
Yeah, what would you do?
You're doing hashtag Team Eric. You're hashtag Team Eric. What a guy.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
What a guy.
I'll take it.
Like, it's just, yeah, what a guy. Okay. Okay, this is from Noah. Hi, Mike. Welcome back to Cleveland, the new home of Superman's Metropolis. You were telling me about this. You're super stoked for it. Number 1, you and Eric have very different hair situations, but what is longer, your hair or Eric's beard?
Ooh.
I did get a cut recently, but I think my hair, but
Yeah,
not
probably.
by much.
I mean, if I really stretch it out.
So the real test, you need to get like, does Kelsey have like a straightener? Like we'd have to get like a straightening iron and like really.
Yeah. I don't think I have any video calls tomorrow. So
yeah, okay. If you do it, measure it, and I'll measure mine, and we'll get back. Maybe I'll edit it in after. Number 2, if you had to give yourself a Leo-style makeover, what would you name your biceps? Thank you for coming back. This is a great final question. So if we are going to name our biceps, what are we going to name them? I think I would name my biceps Leg and Day because I'm much stronger in my lower body and I can squat like way much more. Like my squat max rep is far more impressive than my bench max rep. So something to be like, pay no attention to these. My eyes are down here.
Yeah. God, I'm trying to think of like 2 like duo things like peace and justice.
What about name them after your 2 dogs?
Yeah, Herbie and Henry.
Herbie and Henry.
Yeah, the worst muscles ever. Dogs are so weak.
They are. But they're so lovely.
They're
but
adorable.
They got some dog issues.
Yeah, they got dog. They're 12. They've got health things. They're fine.
Yeah. But no, if you're gonna
yeah, gosh. I mean, something just over the top. Like honestly, like Justice and.
Is there a
like
Fast
that.
and Furious thing you would want to do?
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, there it is.
That's
Perfect.
it.
Awesome. That is our show. Thank you all so much for coming out to the show. Really do appreciate it. This was such a delight. Give it up to Eric for being an incredible guest. Give it up to Christian, who was doing the sound and running point and helping us out backstage and everything. Cleaned up the beer spill. Clutch. So clutch. Shout out to Eric's parents who came through to the show. It was fun. Always love when that happens. And again, shout out to, now this is the end of the tour, another round of applause for Eric for hosting me for the past couple of things, driving me all over the place, just like an absolute champ. Eric needs another round of applause. Please, please, please. Made this all happen. And speaking of making things happen, let's give a round of applause to Kelly and my parents for watching the kid while I was on this 8-day tour. Give it up to them because this wouldn't have been possible without them as well. And finally, shout out to Jaden for running the merch table at this show. You can still go on the way out, but a huge shout out to him, especially because he drove so far to be here. But I really do appreciate it. This was so fun. This was such a lovely ending to the tour. We had a great time, and this was just a cool, fun, really enjoyable show with some really great Q&A questions. So thank you all so much. And I've been to Cleveland before. I hope to return, but whenever I do make my way back to Cleveland, until then, I'll see you later. Thanks so much for coming out, everybody. All right.
Hello! Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Newest Olympian. This podcast is created, hosted, and produced by me, Mike Schubert. I also run the social media and the website. Our editor is Sherry Guo. The music is by Bettina Kampamanis and Brandon Grugel, and the art is by Jessica E. Boyd. If you really enjoy the show and you just can't get enough, there's a couple of different things that you can do. First, you can go to patreon.com/thenewestolympian, and you can get access to all sorts of bonus content that I post on a very regular basis. You also can find us and get involved in the community on social media. We've got an Instagram, we've got a Bluesky, we've got a Twitter, we've got a Facebook, we've got a subreddit, we've got a Discord that's available to all patrons. If you want to support the show, you can get merch at thenewestolympian.com/merch. You can see live shows at thenewestolympian.com/live, and you can check out the aforementioned Patreon. And speaking of, I want to give a shout out to our highest tier, the Ultra God tier patrons who are helping to produce this show with their financial support. So shout out to Kelsey Gillespie, Vicky Garcia, Frida Vikstrom, Megan Moon, Polly Burge, Nikki Harris, Tatiana Schmidt, Sandra Rose, Josh Sayer, Abby Ryan, Marco Redhouse, Sam Reedy, Mrs. O'Leary, Milo Kim, Sandkopf, Rayla Matthews, Sky Mallory, Persasabeth, Aiden Parziani, Grace, Ginger Spurs Boy, A Cup of Solace, Bradamus Prime, Skylar Sisters, Scott Sheldon, Natanya Page, Ann M. Thayer Cohen, Bella, Percy Jackson, Han Haley Hingelheimer Schmidt, Catherine Sloan, Haley Mary, Jim Jam Koopy, Kit Kat Crumbs, Andrea, not Andrea, Jordan Ray, Nico's Black Vespa, and Zayden Wintergate. If you want to support the show in a non-monetary way, just spreading the show via word of mouth is huge. You can tell someone directly who you think would like the show. You could post about it on social media. You could leave a rating and review on whatever podcasting app you're using. All of these things really do help, and I really appreciate anyone who has done it in the past or will do so in the future. But I'm just so thankful that you tuned into this episode, and I hope you tuned into our next episode, where we will be joined in Montreal, Canada by designated Canadian Jenna Buck to break down chapters 9 and 10 of the Mark of Athena. But until then, I'll see you later. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, ASMR Mike. So here in this closet, there's a couple of goodies, and let's make some noise. So here are Joel's shoes. Joel puts his shoes in shower caps from hotels when traveling to keep them from getting scuffed and stuff. I think it's genius. So here's me crinkling that. We also have a couple of dresses from Megan and Aurora and Barbara above me. So here's me ruffling those. And then there's a paper bag, and inside the paper bag appears to be a it's like a little hoodie. It's a little hoodie jacket. That must be for Aurora. Okay, great. Well, that is this ASMR Mike segment. Thank you so much for listening.